Hello, Dr. Nigel. I'm reproducing here a brief about the presentation correlational analysis. So the goal of this presentation is to apply the concept of correlational analysis and present the finding. Data is conducting using PSP. So I'm going to follow the same agenda I use when I send the whole presentation via the system. So we start by the objective, we move to the methodology, we state the processes and the finding, we talk a little bit about the relationship between variables, and we conclude by stating the remarks obtained or formulated. So I will start with the objective. So the aims here was for examining the relationship among the variable collected using the survey monkey that was stated in the given assumptions, asking participants located in the Midwest United States question regarding their income, debt, saving, and other important personal finance factor. So we'll move to the methodology. The data set was downloaded and PSPP was installed. The Excel file was imported into PSPP, and the following correlations were to be examined. So it's between the variables that you gave us and the work we'll have to do. All for all, the study will be concluded using a correlation-based analysis. So based on the assumptions given, hypotheses are derived and tested. In each case, the null and alternative hypotheses are stated and justified. The data set was imported from Excel to statistical software program PSPP, and the calculations were computed using PSPP. So I'm restating this issue just to be in line with what you gave us as assumptions and giving details. So the hypothesis was stated and the correlations were done. The objective is to draw null and alternative hypotheses and justify them for the relevant given details. And then the hypothesis test is stated in terms of null hypothesis H0 and alternative hypothesis HA. Null hypothesis is the hypothesis being stated, while its opposite is the alternate one. Therefore, H0 and HA are mutually exclusive, having the joint outcome and collectively exhausted, covering all possible outcomes. This point was missed in my first presentation, so I'm trying to tackle it for instance. So the first hypothesis test corresponding to the correlation between income and debt. H0, there is no correlation between income and debt, and HA, there is a correlation between income and debt. Note that H0 and HA are mutually exclusive. Since the two variables cannot be simultaneously related, there is a correlation, and not related, there is no correlation. They are mutually exclusive since there are no other outcomes. The remaining correlation test can be stated in similar manner. So here in findings, I went to the graphs issue in the PSPP, and I got the result between income and debt, income and saving, income and stocks, and income and wallets. So and the PSPP output for correlation analysis is often a table called the correlations matrix, where stated all between, of course, between the variables you gave us. in this example. And the correlations matrix lists all correlation between any pair of variables along with the corresponding p-value for the hypothesis test. For instance, the Pearson correlation coefficient between income and debt is 0.05, indicating a very weak association. The corresponding p-value is 0.535, implying that the result found is not significant. As for income and saving, the correlation coefficient is 0.91, indicating a very strong positive association between income and saving. The corresponding p-value is 0.30, implying that the result found is significant. 6 significant correlations were found. Very positive significant correlation between income and saving was found. This indicates that income and saving tend to increase simultaneously or decrease simultaneously. Equally, a positive significant correlation between income and stocks was found. This indicates that income and saving tend to increase simultaneously or decrease simultaneously too. However, the correlation is weak, evidenced by a correlation coefficient of 0.19. A perfect positive significant correlation between income and wealth was found, evidenced by a correlation coefficient of 1. The other variables were stated too. It means the correlation between the other variables were stated too. But I'm going to stop here to try to be within, to work within the time limit that you gave us, Joseph. It means I have to make the whole issue between 5 and 7 minutes. I don't want to exceed this time in this time frame. That's why I'm going to stop. Anyhow, Dr. Nigel, it really you will still have some question to ask me. Please make it as soon as possible. I am trying to respond favorably to all what you are asking me to do, but in fact, I give you my word. I haven't worked on something like that in the past. Anyhow, this tool I didn't have it, so I asked my colleagues here to install it, and they worked on it and they installed it today. And a few minutes ago, we reached what we wanted to do. So it took this time. It's not because I wanted to make it this way, but yeah, it was beyond my limit, my power and limit. That's why excuse me for all this delay. Thank you very much. 8 point